And for people that don't know, I guess like could you explain how you got Khan and Keanu? Was it the same way that they fell into your lap?
Yeah, so a lot of the times when people deforest the rainforest, they're paid a very, very, very small amount. They're paid basically the fuel money and a little bit of money for themselves to go into the rainforest, cut down a tree, and bring it out. Um, they cut down the rainforest and they do these things just so that they can literally put food on their plates for their families. If as a parent you would know that if your son needed something, you would do whatever you could to make that happen.
Of
And
course.
so we cannot fault these people for doing this. We have to fault the government and we have to fault the system that they are placed in. When it comes down to taking animals from the wild, if you cut down a tree which is home to hundreds of different animals, it's home from the smallest of ant to the largest of eagle. If you cut down a tree and you find a baby animal inside it, and the mum is nowhere to be seen, a lot of these people, what they do is they take them, they think that they can raise them, and if they can't raise them, they sell them on the black market or just keep them in chains, like a horrible, horrible lifestyle. Unfortunately, a lot of these animals that do get sold on the black market do go to Asia. Um, Also, a lot of these animals that do end up heading towards the black market usually die on transit. Um, so the community which was closest to where I was living in Peru knew of what I wanted to do and my mission and my kind of like standpoint on wild animals being taken. And so they would sometimes, help me with like, by the way, there's some peccary that this person has and he wants to, take them. Or by the way, somebody shot a female monkey and it had a baby and now the baby is injured, do you mind taking care of it? And so a lot of the animals that came to me, not just Khan and Keanu, but birds and agoutis and different types of monkeys and snakes and all these different things were like taken and were just going to be sold as pets to other people just so that these people could make a a lifestyle, be able to provide for their family. Um, and so a lot of them were taken just so that these people could help their family out.
Yeah.
It comes down to government, it comes down to education, it comes down to black market, it comes down to a whole bunch of things. The reason why Khan and Keanu came to me, I'm not 100% sure. I just know that people were selective logging and they were bringing these animals back out because they'd found them. Keanu actually had a brother, and on transit, his brother died. We're unsure why. But then when I had Keanu, he had parasites that were passed on via a dog. And when I'd spoken to the local people, they said that when they were bringing them down, they just let the dog sleep with these ocelots so that they could keep each other company. But a dog in Peru and South America isn't necessarily the type of dog that we would have here, where here it has flea medication, parasite medication, a healthy food source. Their dogs are used so that they can eat rats because everybody kills snakes. Dogs are used so that if they're at camp, either the puma or the jag is going to take the dog first before it takes the people, even though it would never take the people. Dogs aren't a pet to people in South America, especially people living in the jungle. They are a warning signal, they are a defense, and they are starved completely so that then they can eat the rats which are
Mm.
coming in and eating the people's foods. And so when you couple up ocelots with dogs, they don't have their vaccines, they don't have any of these things, they have parasites, they're completely unhealthy. That passes very, very quickly to these ocelots, and that's what I believe killed his brother.
That's such a shame, but it's a very important. it's so dynamic, the intricacies of what you're talking about. It's not a simple fix. I think that's one of the hardest things in conservation too, right? Is that not one single thing is going to fix the whole problem, is that there's a lot of different things, and I'm sure a lot of these people are, that's the only pathway that they have, and of course
Right.
you would do anything for your family. And I think that the biggest thing is that when we're able to have shelter and have food and be able to take care of ourselves, of course we're going to give that back out to nature and everything. But when you don't have those things, like, you have to survive. And that's a big thing to realize in what you're saying with these communities as well.
Yeah, it's like people are like, oh, we need to stop deforestation because it's like the number one, issue with global warming and all of these different things. It's like we don't need to stop deforestation just for that one reason. We need to stop it for so many other reasons. We
Yeah.
need to really take a step back and just be like, we're not just cutting down trees just so that these people can live. We're cutting down trees so these people can survive. And then while they're doing that, they're destroying so many other types of ecosystems, so many other types of ways of life. You know, people hunt all the time. If we educate people on what is better to hunt than what is, worse to hunt, then we could potentially help. Um, it's I don't want people to hunt. I think we should just leave it how it is. People have chickens when they're in the forest. They do all these things, but if someone kills a tapir, which has a gestation period of like 2 and a bit years, and then
Mhm.
when it's with its mum, it's with its mum for almost 3 years. So that you're take if you kill a female tapir, you're taking 5 years of a life cycle away from the environment, and you how can nature survive and keep up with that? Like
Right.
it's crazy.
Yeah, we've come past the point of balance where we've like overtaken. And I think it's, by being able to hopefully help these people, we're not only helping them, which is a beautiful thing in and of itself, but that will hopefully in turn then help the environment, like you're saying. And I think that's in a lot of places too with conservation, is that if we could help the people there and to understand them better, like, it's not just to, we shouldn't be, blaming them. It's the circumstances that they're in, that they're trying to survive.
They don't care about the environment for the future. They care about their lifestyle for now.
Right.
And that is a mindset that we kind of need to change because they're worrying about now, but how are their grandkids going to feel when fires are completely destroying the rainforest at a rate that is never seen or heard of before? Fires happen every single year in the Amazon rainforest because of selective burning and deforestation and um, change with warming temperatures and less rain and it's just one of these things where it's if we can educate, if we can really go in and we can really talk to these people about specific things, not killing animals, not cutting down the rainforest, sustainable kind of living, um, then we can make an impact, but we can't make an impact now. It needs to be drilled into people for years and years and years before they can actually see a change. And once they do see change, then they'll be able to be like, oh, this is actually the better way to live instead of our past kind of thoughts and ideas of what life was going to be like.
Right. They almost need to see the results of sustainability and to be able to see, like, oh, that is going to work, because like you said, they are just trying to survive. And when you're in survival mode, it is hard to see outside of that. You're in the here and now, so you can't
Yeah.
see the future.
No, absolutely. Yeah, this is a worldwide problem. I'm not specifically saying that this is, the issue of all South Americans, and people
Yeah.
living in the Amazon rainforest. We in, even though I'm British, I live in the US. We all do things which impact this world. And we all need to learn by kind of like trial and error. And I think that we're at a point now where we can be like, oh, we've made this many errors. Like, we need to now really figure this out. I believe we're at a point of where there's no turning back. There's nothing that we can do. We are going to struggle and everything's going to get worse. But we, and myself, I can do the best that I can in my day-to-day life. And then when I do go to the jungle, I can educate people on why they shouldn't kill snakes and all these things. But yeah, I just feel like we have kind of like passed that point, and now all we can do is just really do our absolute best to try and like prolong the extinction.
Yeah, it's so sad to think about, and I think we've so disconnected ourselves from nature and the wild, and a lot of, I love that picture where it's like eco and ego and thinking of ourselves as part of nature. And it's really hard when you connect with different people with that love nature, and you're like, oh, everybody should think this way, and then you come into contact with somebody and it's clear that they don't think that way. But um they so forget how important nature is, and how each animal has an importance. And hopefully, we can see that each one of us could have an importance, especially in nature. Like whales help the oceans and help carbon, and the Amazon rainforest and the trees are helping to absorb that. And I think the more people can hopefully see and recognize how each person, each creature, each thing is supposed to be here and has a specific job to help, you know, be a part of the earth and the planet. That, I don't know, I'm maybe a little bit optimistic. Maybe we
Yeah.
can do
It's not
make
that
it
people can't
some.
see it, it's that people ignore it. That's the
It's
thing.
the people that don't see it that's the problem. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, they
yeah,
just ignore it. They because they know the issues. Everybody knows
it's
the
easy.
issues. If you've
Yeah,
watched a David Attenborough documentary, if you've um, seen the news and how there's fires everywhere and it wasn't like this before, like everybody knows. They just don't want to know. That's the problem.
and I think especially in your story too, is that it takes a lot longer to heal than it does, unfortunately, to just kind of take or to burn or anything like that. So to heal or to fix takes a lot of effort, and um a lot of passion. And hopefully there could be a change, or the more people can. I think that there's hopefully going to be a shift, that more people are focused on the environment and how
Yeah.
important it is. But I agree with you that there's definitely still a long way to go.
Yeah, I thought that the pandemic was gonna kind of like
Heal everything.
well, I thought it was gonna just make people think like, holy crap, like this is one thing that's taken us all out. Maybe we should do something about it. I also thought that maybe it was just going to wipe out a bunch of us, and then it was just going to be like the people that care about conservation left. But there's for wishful thinking. But
Right, yeah, absolutely. um yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I hope that that happens, because nature is so important. And I think we just need to learn that, you know, I think that what you're doing is very important, with hopefully connecting people with, reminding them that they're a part of nature too, is I think the biggest thing, especially with what you're doing with your charity, Emerald
yeah,
Arch. So beautiful.
yeah. So over the next year, I'm going to be fundraising. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff with my lawyer and the lands and, figuring things out. And yeah, so I'm hoping to spread the word via podcasts and via just talks and social media and hopefully raise enough money so that we can buy land and protect it and work with communities and bring veterans in and yeah, do all that. So yeah, if there's anybody who is, wanting to learn more about my nonprofit Emerald Arch, then they can go to www.emeraldarch.org. If anybody wants to help out, that would be great. Whether that be fundraising, whether that be ideas, whether that be physically helping once we do get the land to set up trails, to help with conservation, to work with community members. I have a long road ahead of me with Emerald Arch. I know that we're going to make a difference. I know that we're going to really put our kind of like boots on the ground and change the area that is there from being destroyed by oil companies to being this healthy environment where the local communities can in the future thank us for, clean water and clean forests and clean health. And yeah, it's going to be a really, really important mission. So yeah, thank you for letting me come on and talk about that and talk about my life. But yes, I have a lot ahead of me. So maybe I'll come back onto the podcast in the future and talk about what's happened next.